Hello everyone, this is the Cost and Management Accounting 3. The program is BCom, subject is Commerce, semester, 5th semester, and the university is Mangalore University, and we are in the 51st session. In this session of operating costing, we will be looking into the meaning of operating costing, features of operating costing. The learning objective of this session is to know the meaning of operating costing and to understand the preparation of operating cost statement. The session outcomes. Session outcomes will be to understand the concept of operating costing and to identify the features of operating costing. Meaning, operating costing is a processing technique of accumulating and ascertainment of the cost of providing services. Industries which adopt this method of costing render service rather than producing products to the customers. Industries which follow this method of costing are such as transport industry, electricity industry, hotel industry, etc. In these industries, products are not produced, but units of service or units of operation is rendered to the customers. The cost calculation is for each unit of service served to the customers. These units of service may be sold to the public or customers or utilized within the industries for its purpose as a cost-effective or cost-saving measures. For example, electricity generated is either sold to the public or utilized within the industries to run the business organization for manufacturing products. Likewise, a service department like a powerhouse maintenance wing, boiler house, stores department, canteen wing, etc. renders service to the other departments of the manufacturing process. So, operating costing is a processing technique of accumulating and ascertainment of the cost of providing services. It is not concerned with the production of goods. This is the meaning of operating costing. Now we come to the definition of operating costing. According to ICMA, operating costing is that form of operating costing which applies where standardized services are rendered or provided either by an undertaking or by a service cost center within an undertaking. I'll repeat the definition. According to ICMA, operating cost is that form of operating costing which applies where standardized services are provided either by an undertaking or by a service cost center within an undertaking. That means the services provided here are standardized and are provided either by an undertaking, that is, it can be for the public or customers, or by a service cost center within an undertaking, that is, within an organization, the service can be provided. So, this is one of the definitions of operating costing. Now we come to the features of operating costing. Uniform service is provided to all the customers. In those industries where operating cost is adopted, services provided are uniform or standardized. That is, similar type of services are provided. The next feature is costs are collected under different headings. Operating costs are usually collected under the following headings: fixed or standing charges, variable or running charges. In some cases, the semi-fixed cost and variable cost are taken separately, and in those cases, costs will be classified into three categories, that is fixed cost, maintenance cost and variable variable cost. Next feature is fixed and variable cost classification is important. Distinction between fixed and variable cost is important because economies and scale of operations considerably affect the cost per unit of service rendered. For instance, fixed cost like insurance per passenger will be lower if buses in transport company run to capacity. So the fixed and variable cost classification is important. The next feature is there is no physical stock of an article if an undertaking renders service. Undertaking which render service generally do not have physical stock of goods. The next feature is the service of a concern may be sold to the public or may be used within the enterprise. Concerns like railways, shipping companies, electricity supply companies, hotels, water supply companies, hospitals, etc. sell their service to the general public, while services of canteens, boiler houses, etc. are used within the concern. So, the service of a concern here may be sold to the public or may be used within the enterprise. The next feature is cost unit may be simple cost unit or it may be a composite cost unit. A cost unit where there is a single cost, the cost unit is known as simple cost unit. Example, in a canteen, the cost unit is per meal or per dish. A cost unit where two cost units are combined together, the cost unit is known as composite cost unit. Here, the cost unit is made up of two or more factors having relation to the service provided. For example, in a transport company, number of passengers as well as distance covered should be taken into account, evolving a cost unit, that is passenger kilometer. So the cost unit can be simple cost unit or it may be a composite cost unit. The costs are collected from the various sources and computed period wise. The costs are collected for a period like monthly, quarterly or yearly, and the costs collected for a period are related to the quantum of services rendered during the period. The next feature is cost sheet is used to ascertain the unit cost of service. In a cost sheet, the total cost will be divided by the number of units of service generated or produced to get cost per unit of service. So the cost sheet is used to ascertain the unit cost of service. The next feature is fixed cost form a large part of total investment. In industries rendering services, they have to make a heavy capital investment. That is, a large portion of the total capital is invested in fixed assets and only a small portion of the total capital is invested on current or working capital. So, industries which render services will have to make a heavy capital investment. These are some of the features of operating costing. Now we come to the summary. From this session, we have been able to understand the meaning of operating costing, and also we have been able to identify the various features of operating costing. With this, I'd like to conclude this session. Thank you.